Okay, know much more about our customer needs and use this to drive our marketing. So I would suggest that there's this continuum of amongst marketers and probably of the folks in the room, and it sounds a bit like this. I think there's three groups. I think there's the type of companies that we've heard from over the past day, and that includes the Cokes of the world and Symantec's of the world that know a lot about their customers. They probably use big data, sophisticated research, and they have deep customer insights that drive a lot of what they do. And so they're doing enhancements and they're doing refinements to try to make the improvements that we've heard a lot about. I think there's this middle group that has some customer insights and a lot of hunches, a lot of the stuff in the gut that makes you feel like you know what you want to do in next year's plan or gives you a general sense of what that 3-year plan looks like. And then there's this other group which doesn't really know a lot about customer insights. They're just trying to use best practices they're learning in the industry to make improvements. And so it's more about experimentation. So one of the things that we found is regardless of who purchased a warranty, engagement was quite low. Now, that's only mildly important to you because I'm talking about home warranty and I get the fact that that's not your business. But let me step back to one of the things they talk to us about as professionals. And frequently what they say to us is, your importance to the company is lower than you believe it to be, right? We're easier to replace than we think we are. There's this idea of self-importance that we each have. So that's a scary fact, but if you read it, it's largely a truism. And so I'll kind of extrapolate from that and say, I think we care about our companies and we believe our products to be more important, to have a higher share of mind, to have more awareness from a customer perspective than they do. And so this was a good wake-up call for us because we believed we had low awareness. It's a warranty. In some ways, it gets lost in the real estate transaction when you're worried about financing your house or purchasing your house. But it was how very low the awareness was, how very low the engagement was that was just startling to us. And I mentioned that, again, not just as a finding for us, but if you step back and you think about it, or you look at the research you have about this, short of the Coke example, which is obviously a phenomenal one globally, I think very few of our products resonate in the way that we think they do. We sit at our desk and we think about it, we talk about it, and we, God forbid, we dream about it. But I think that sometimes we're not aware of that difference in awareness or engagement. And so when you know this, and we knew this not only in this level of detail, but from the hours of conversations and interviews that we did with customers, we knew exactly what that meant. We knew there was a big piece to tackle there that wasn't just about changing renewal rates at the end, but that was largely about the customer experience and about relationship building and that value across all touch points that I mentioned earlier. So this was a very helpful finding for us. In terms of the customer experience, it wasn't just that it was a nice to have, it was an absolute have to have. And in fact, without it, our business couldn't exist in the way that it does. And so again, our business, you'd call us if something was broken, that furnace or the AC, and even if we saved you the $5,000 and sent someone to your house to take care of it, if the interaction with us wasn't up to par with you, it took away in large part from all the benefit you got from it, from the indemnification benefit. Again, that was somewhat logical, but it was the magnitude of this kind of finding that helped us understand that our customer experience in part was hamstringing our renewal rates. So let's put this back to you and your companies. If you're in the marketing department and you're thinking about either acquisition or loyalty or any of the other endeavors that marketers do, are there other parts of the business that have significant influence that are going against the work that you're doing? And then, of course, the question is, what can you do about those? I think Jamie articulated that yesterday, the challenge, the cross-functional challenge that lots of us have in going to get support from other departments. But this is clearly something that if we wanted to generate these terrific results, we are going to have to tackle. And I would suggest, as you're laying out your plan and thinking about this, to step back and understand the magnitude of each one of these influences, because a lot of times it's not just about whether we put a live stamp on a direct mail package or change the creative. There's plenty of other things that are really influencing the renewal rates or the loyalty or that customer experience. And a third that's up here, and I alluded to it earlier, but the real estate agent. So that's our acquisition, that's our point of sale piece. They were setting that mindset, which I shared with you a little bit earlier. And that mindset was largely, it was a great product for the first year. You should certainly have it because of the surprises that might occur in the first year of a home. So we didn't know they were saying that. We didn't even really suspect they were saying that. But after we talked to our customers, we heard it time and time again. And so it was very clear that regardless of what we did, in month 10 to say you should keep the warranty, for 10 months they had been told in their mind, and they believed that this is a one-year product, and the value was clearly because of those surprises. And it wasn't about the fact that our product delivered value for the lifetime, while you're in the home, throughout that entire period. And it wasn't about the cost effectiveness or the idea of it being hassle-free. It was about protecting against surprises. So unless we could change that message up front, again, we weren't going to be able to successfully do our renewal marketing, or I guess to Dale's point, and I agree with his criticism on the idea of campaign, we weren't going to fix it with a campaign. It's going to have to be across the entire continuum of customer experience. And you can see how this leads to a cultural change in our business, that we weren't going to attack it from one marketing manager managing direct mail, or one person working on a fulfillment kit, that you're really going to have to manage it across the entire business. And I'm going to do a couple slides on it in a moment. But this very clearly came out from our VoC, which was, to Stephen's point yesterday from Symantec, customers were willing to profile and to share their interests and preferences if we respected it and handled it in an appropriate fashion.